a brief look at what are purchase agreements in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. So many a times the requirement comes that an organization is having some kind of terms with a vendor or a manufacturer with whom you are purchasing your goods for certain time period, maybe 6 months or a year, to buy certain item or category of items for certain quantities at a certain price or maybe some price and a discount combination. So where do you capture such agreement? This is also sometimes known as a blanket purchase order. So you have the framework or container in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations, which is known as purchase agreement. So I'll come to that. So purchase agreement is a contract that commits an organization to buy a specific quantity or amount by using multiple purchase orders. So basically, this is a container view where you select a vendor, you select a validity period, and on the lines you select the item or the category, procurement category, and the quantity and the price or discounts. Against this, once this is created, you basically confirm it, which makes this purchase agreement effective, and against this you release purchase orders as and when required. Or you can directly create a purchase order, and when you are creating a new purchase order, you select the purchase agreement so that the purchase order is linked to the purchase agreement. So you can see all this information on Microsoft Online, Microsoft Learn. For D365 documentation is available, huge details are available, you can go and self-study. Briefly, I will tell you there are four types of commitments. So basically the purchase agreement has four classifications of commitments, you can say. So one is your product quantity commitment. So basically you are committing to buy a specific quantity of a product. Then again product value commitment. So basically it's basically tracking the amounts, and then product category. So first two items are lines are for actually items, and the last two commitments types are for basically product categories. And this is basically depending on the commitment type you have selected on the purchase agreement. These are the different options you have. So this table describes the price related fields that are affected by each commitment type. Fields that contain yes can be updated on a order line. So basically the sales order line. So you can have this kind of documentation, you can go through it. I'll just give you look of how the agreement look likes. So if I go, and this is basically if I go to account payables, if I go to, so what I'll do is quickly collapse, and then if I go to purchase orders, so this is here you will find the purchase agreements. You will also find in the procurement and sourcing. So if I click on the purchase agreement, and this is one which is I have created, so it has two lines. So if I go to the header, so it will show me some details like what is the agreement classifications, line matching policy. So these are the purchase order matching policies, whether you want the company policy, three-way, two-way, not required. And then you have, this is where you have the default commitment types. So four default commitment types are available. Then also start and end date, expiration date, which is the end date is the expiration date, the currency, the vendor account, and also the status of the commitment. So basically it is on hold. So when you create a new commitments, the default status is on hold, and when you post this confirmation on the header, the status becomes effective, and you will find the all the posted confirmation journals sitting here. You will find basically, so I have selected two items. So these are basically product masters. So I have the option, like you can see, first line, I have selected only the product master, not the variant. So I have this flexibility. And in the second line, I have even gone and I have even not even selected the storage dimensions, which are site and warehouse. So I have selected the quantities, basically the unit price and the discount, which is, so the vendor, effectively this is telling me that this commitment is for this product. And since the vendor has a unit price of 1000, but he has agreed me 10% discount for up to this much of quantities for this range of dates. So what does it do? At any point of time when this commitment is effective, or this purchase agreement, which is kind of a blanket purchase order, I can always go and from here itself I select a line and I do a release order. So it basically I'm creating a new purchase order. So I select the delivery address where the purchase or the order needs to be delivered. I select the line for which I want to create the purchase order and I enter the quantities, the purchase quantities, the site and warehouse, and I do a create. So automatically it will go and create a purchase order. So this is one way, and that purchase order is linked to this purchase agreement. So once a purchase order is created and it is linked, so at any point of time, I can go and select the line and go to related information and please click on the related purchase. So it will show me the related purchase orders, the lines, the details, and how, and then the complete status. What is the quantity of the that purchase order line? What is the delivery, which is the remainder? If it is has been invoiced, so what is the invoice quantity, remainder invoice quantity, so on and so forth. So this is one of the good advantages of using purchase agreements. One thing which many people have asked me, that master planning, how, if I generate a master plan and I have a demand on my sales order, and that sales order line, if it is an FG item and that BOM of that FG has a RM item for which I have a blanket purchase order or purchase agreement. So the master planning, when I'm firming the plan or I'm firming the planned orders, let's say a purchase planned order. So how system is the system going to find the relevant purchase agreement and it is going to create a purchase order which is linked to this purchase agreement? Yes, that functionality is available out of the box. It is a beautiful functionality, a very powerful functionality. Quickly, I will show you. If I go to my master planning and I go to master planning parameters, and if I go to planned orders, so when this master plan, so if you see this tool help shows, this is the option if you want the program to search for a vendor with whom you have a purchase agreement. Uh, when you run the master scheduling, so this is one tick you have to make yes. Next is that when you are firming the planned order, that time if you want to group by purchase agreement, you can do that, including find purchase agreement. So again, select this option to enable auto search for purchase agreements during firming of planned orders. If a matching purchase agreement is found, information such as price and discount will be applied to the sales order line. So it basically the system is going to hook up or link the purchase order lines with the relevant purchase agreement. It will find it and connect it. So let's quickly see how it is done. So I have a sales order in my system, and what I will do is I'll just remove this. So this is my actual demand. I'm creating a demand or a sales order in the system. I'm selecting this item. So this is basically a bomb item. It has variations. I'm selecting, let's say, 10 mm of this item, and I will put some quantities. So if you see the quantity, I'll just quickly change it to 2.97 tons of this quantity, and I have some site and warehouse also selected, and maybe I'm giving a price also, a unit price. So since CTP date controlled is enabled, so real time master planning, and if I go and do the explosion, so system is going, so it has suggested or generated a planned batch order. Since that is a process based item, so I have a formula linked to that sales order line item. So it is suggesting a planned batch order, and it's also suggesting a planned purchase order. If I go for that RM item, so if I see the pegging, so for this planned purchase order, which the master planning is suggesting or has created, uh, if I see the pegging, it shows me that it has a formula line for that FG item, which for which the batch order is also planned, and it has one RM item. So this is the same for which, if I quickly, if this is SSWR 303 HR4. If I go to my purchase agreement, this is the same item for which I have SSWR 303 HR4, for which I have a purchase agreement which is effective. So coming back to my master planning. So if I go and quickly, I'll go and select this plant purchase order. Let me click on the hyperlink. And if I go and firm it, so I'm just manually going and firming it. Let's see what it does. So when I firm it, I will quickly refresh my screen, and it shows that it has generated a purchase order which is 4788. So quickly opening this purchase order, I go and select this line, and I see there is update line on the purchase order line. We have update line and we have purchase agreement. If I click on create link, you see that is already automatically master planning has generated for my sales order line demand, a batch production order, plant batch production order, and also it has generated a plant purchase order which I firm. When I do the firming of the plant purchase order, automatically a firm or a real purchase order is created, and the line is automatically connected to my purchase agreement. So even if I go to my purchase agreement and I select this line and I go to information related orders, you see the second line or the second purchase order 4788 is coming here. So this is a very powerful and beautiful functionality. Lot of people struggle to enable this, but I have shown you the setups, I have shown you the configurations, I have shown you a real example and some transactions and how it is done. Hope you will like this video and comment and like it so that I stay motivated and do all such kind of more videos. Thank you very much.